Mr. Transformers 96 here. It's another video. Are we doing a video review on the Hot Toys Doctor Strange figure? Doctor Strange was one of my most anticipated figures of the year. Very excited to finally have it. As you can see, the box is very unique, and this is the only figure that we're getting from the Doctor Strange line, unfortunately. Even though they did show the Ancient one, it looks like that figure is not going to be made, but I do like this packaging style. As you can see, it's very cerebral, and it uses shape patterns, very extensively, and different shots of Doctor Strange from the film. I do like it. It's a neat design. My favorite thing about it, though, is that this little piece, you turn it and then that unlocks it and you can open it up and see the figure inside. That's just very clever, and it goes along with the Doctor Strange theme too. So I really do like the box. It's quite nice, but the figure is the main attraction here, so let's get on to that. So here's the figure out of package, but before we go over Doctor Strange, let's go over his accessories. He comes with an excellent assortment of hands. Of course, you do get an extra set of wrist pegs, though. But the hands that he comes with are great. Usually, when I go over the hands on a Hot Toys figure review, I'm always like, oh, I would have liked to see them come with this or that, or they're certainly lacking this. But with this figure, really no complaints with the hands. First of all, just the sculpting in the hands is absolutely excellent. Obviously, you need a little extra sculpting when it comes to Doctor Strange's hands, considering he does have some issues there. So yeah, you can see all the veins, and he's had multiple surgeries, so you can see the marks on that. Excellent, really do love that. I think that looks great. But he comes with 2 fists, 2 kind of clenching hands. You could have him, you could display him with the book in those hands, or you can just have them clenching because of his the ticks in his hands. He comes with one hand that has the 2 fingers out, which is kind of for the sling ring. However, the sling ring, there's no space to put the thing that's in between the sling ring in between the fingers, so you can't put the sling ring on those hands. Then he comes with 2 hands that just have magical, and crazy type of finger selections. It's kind of odd. It's more for doing spells or just having him in a cool stance, basically. And then you have 2 very large open hands, which are particularly meant for holding the magical accessories that can just fit on right on this. So overall, absolutely love the selection of hands that you get with him. I love fun, unique hand styles. This one is certainly in no short supply of those. And the only thing he's really missing is relaxed palms, but those wouldn't even make sense with Doctor Strange, because his hands are always, cramped, basically, so relaxed palms wouldn't make any sense at all. So I absolutely love the assortment of hands that you get with him. 100% fantastic, nothing I could have wanted, and they really kind of went over and beyond what I wanted. Alright, here's some of the miscellaneous accessories that he includes. You get 2 necklaces, the Eye of Agamotto. You have 1 closed, 1 open. So essentially, you should really only display the open one when you have the green magic effects on his arm. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make much sense. However, it still looks cool, so if you want to do it, obviously go ahead. But I do prefer this one, simply because I don't display him with the green effects, and the detail just in that in this section is excellent there. And obviously, you have that signature Doctor Strange symbol, the one that's in the window that is on the backdrop that he includes, of course. You get a sling ring, which I'm glad that he includes. However, I find it really hard to put it on him. So I'm noticing a second sling ring here. I guess, is one slightly more open? I don't even know the difference between those two. But anyway, I find it really hard to actually get it on his fingers. There doesn't seem to be a clear hand sculpt that's meant specifically for having the sling ring on, which is very annoying. The Sensation Caecilius figure comes with his sling ring attached to the hand that it's supposed to go on. Would have much rather had this be the case, and this one is just so much more shiny. It's very cool. So I do think that that's unfortunate when it comes to this Hot Toys figure. He comes with the book. What is the book called? When this movie came out, I knew all these names, and I'm starting to forget some of them. Yeah, the book, I can't remember what it's called, but I really do love the design of the book here. Looks very cool. It can be opened. It does have a little clasp. They can open up. And as you can see, there's actually writing on all of these pages. And they're legit, the writing from the movie, which is cool. I definitely like it a lot. Looks very realistic. Looks very weathered. You can't really open it fully, and it does have a tendency just to kind of close up mainly, which is definitely a shame. I want to display it open a bit, but it's kind of hard to do that. But overall, really love this book. It's actually one of my favorite accessories. I think that it looks great, and I love displaying him, doing the green, magical effect, like he's reversing time to when he figures out the book and the pages and everything. I do like that very much. So these miscellaneous accessories are very nice, and like the book, I wouldn't have expected him to come with. So I do really like the range that he comes with as far as accessories are concerned. Doctor Strange, of course, comes with some magical effects. First of all, he comes with this green setup where he's manipulating the time gem, and as you can see, you've got this section which goes on his hand, this one that goes further down on his arm, and this one that goes a little bit closer on his arm, which is kind of nice. I do like the fact that you can recreate the scene in the movie, like where he's reversing time and stuff, especially since he comes with the book. I think that it's very nice that he comes with those accessories. Those are quite neat. Then he comes with the orange ones, which are more of Doctor Strange's, what I would consider is like staple magic pieces. I think these look excellent though. You do have this little section which you can fit his hands in, and then the detail in it is excellent. Really do love the coloring, the sculpting, and the translucent nature of it. It's excellent. It's really well done. The only thing I could ask for is to have the hands like physically attached to this. I don't see the reason that these wouldn't be just attached to the hands, because you're not going to display these without the hands on them. So it would be much easier and much more stable if they were just came on the hands already. That would have been a little bit nicer, and definitely would have preferred that. As far as magical accessories go, the only other thing that I could have liked is the kind of whip section. He uses this he uses this a lot, especially when he first starts learning. He does the whole kind of like whip thing. Would have been cool if he came with a hand that was like attached to a magical whip, because it's not very long too. It's rather small, so I think that would have been a nice accessory to include, but that's not super necessary. They did give you a nice range of magical accessories. Alright, so here he is with one of those magical effects on him. As you can see, his fingers just kind of fit in those little sections that are open. It's not super stable. I mean, it's very stable right here, but depending on how high and low you have the arm, it could fall off. Would have been nicer if the hand was just sculpted right into there, but nonetheless, it still works nicely, and it looks excellent. I mean, from the side it looks cool, but from the front it looks excellent. Again, if it was sculpted on there, you could get rid of the things around his fingers, so it would really look flush and like really interesting, but nonetheless, looks fantastic. And just the paint on it is spectacular, and the sculpting really cool, I have to say. It just looks excellent. Doctor Strange comes with quite a nice kind of diamond-shaped base that also includes a backdrop. I will be showing you the backdrop when I show you how I display this Doctor Strange figure. However, the base itself is excellent. You get a nameplate right here that has more of a gold finish rather than silver, which is unusual, but I think it's very cool. It says Doctor Strange. It has almost like a sun effect coming out of it, which I think is nice. Got the Doctor Strange logo right at the front, and a bunch of Doctor Strange type of graphics, as well as a really unique color scheme. And of course, it does have just a clear pole where you can display him floating a bit, but it's obviously not a dynamic stand, so you can't do much as far as flight poses are concerned. However, you can display him floating a bit if you'd like, but I do love this base and the backdrop that it includes. Alright, on to the actual figure here. As you can see, we do have the face sculpt of Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, and I think it's excellent. One of the best Hot Toy sculpts to date, I think. It's pretty perfect. It really just completely captures Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. It really does. As simple as that. I do like the hair sculpt a lot. I like the way that they've got the whitish part melded in on the sides there, and I just like the design of the hair, the way it's falling down. I think it looks excellent. And it's one of those sculpts that from every angle it looks perfect, and that's basically as plain as I can put it. It's a great head sculpt. Expression-wise, I think is very good. You've got a very stern, angry expression. I wouldn't want one with a smirk. I wouldn't want one angrier. So although usually I prefer face sculpts with expression, for the character Doctor Strange, I really don't see a better expression than this. This is perfect for just about any sort of pose that you could want. So I'm very happy with this head sculpt, not only from its design perspective, but from its execution. Looks wonderful, and it's perfect. I really do love it. Going over his actual costume here, without the cape on. I will show you the cape, of course, though, but really do like this costume. You've got tons of layering and different textures going on throughout it. The cloth is not restrictive. It's completely flexible, and it's relatively baggy around certain areas like the arms and legs, and therefore it doesn't hinder the articulation like at all, which is wonderful. You do have a lot of little beads and wrappings around the arms as well as the belt. Especially you have these pieces, which are definitely a cloth, material. middle. You've got them around his arm as well, just right here. This can be a little annoying when you're putting on that like green power effect, but that's a very small, simple thing. Pants look excellent, and then the shoes are done very nice. The shoes actually have extra wrapping on top of them. These aren't just sculpted on, which I think was a nice choice. It does give it more of a three-dimensional look rather than had they just sculpted it on. But perfect as far as tailoring is concerned. The figure itself, just like the dead figure, is perfect. I really have nothing wrong with it because it's not style over substance, and it's not anything like that. You get great articulation, you get an absolutely perfect tailoring, and you get perfect head sculpt from all angles with a great expression. So this to me is like the pinnacle of a perfect figure in a lot of ways, I must say. Alright, the Cloak of Levitation, can't forget this. Just wanted to show you it without it being on him at the moment. You can like kind of display it with a pole, you know, holding it up, because obviously the cape is sentient, so you can kind of display it like that. But the detail inside of it is really wonderful. Tons going on here. It's got a great print, which just looks pretty excellent, and then the trim of it looks very nice, especially around the back. And the way that it's all been put together at the back. The cape has so much going on with it, it's quite spectacular. It is attachable just via magnets, basically. You just wrap it around his neck, and it just kind of magnets in place. Very easy to get on, and it lays very nicely, as you can see. But what's excellent about it is it does have a wire in it. It has a wire in the collar, so you can, you know, position the collar the way that you'd like. If you'd like the collar to be wiping away his tears, feel free. But you do have a wire that also extends down the entire cape section, which is excellent. I'm a big fan of wired capes. They're really fun, you know, and it allows you to really just pose them and do whatever you'd like. And with this cape, you know, you don't really have to look at the you know, you don't have to try to get it where it looks like it's like flapping in the wind, because this cape is, again, sentient, so it can be doing its own thing, and it still looks good. So it really makes it so even if you're not the best at posing capes, it can still look very nicely, because obviously it doesn't have to look natural, it doesn't have to look like the wind swept it up. It can just be the cape having some fun. So I do like that fact. You know, the cape is just as memorable as Doctor Strange almost himself. But yeah, very cool. Love the cape, and especially if you have him flying and have the cape like really going out pretty crazy, it does look excellent. So I am a big fan of that, I must say. Alright, so here's the Hot Toys Doctor Strange displayed with the Sensations Caecilius, or as they call it, the Zealot Sorcerer. So as you can see, this is how I display my Doctor Strange. I display him with a kind of a third-party figure, which is obviously the villain from his own film. As you can see, Doctor Strange's base and backdrop fit perfectly in a Detolf square. If that's where you want to display him, that's, you know, that'll fit perfectly, and he looks excellent in there. And because the backdrop really fills up the space like completely, so you can do a lot with the display. I will say that if you display him on the base, he does kind of cover up the window in the background, which is definitely disappointing. This way it's perfect because you can see the window in the background, but yeah, he works very nicely. If you're interested in Caecilius and a Caecilius figure, I would highly recommend this Sensations 1 Zealot Sorcerer. I think it's a really great figure, and yeah, definitely worth it. I have done a review if you'd like to check that out, because great figure, definitely a perfect piece to go along with this Hot Toys Doctor Strange. So overall, this Doctor Strange figure can be described in one word: perfect. It's really perfect. I have no issues with it. My only issue is that the sling ring doesn't really have a specific hand to go on. That is literally my only issue. He comes with every accessory I could have wanted, and I was really, when this movie came out, I absolutely loved it. I saw it 9 times, and I really went over like all the accessories in the film, and he really comes with everything that I could have wanted. Every accessory is executed perfectly. And I do love the fact that he comes with a base and diorama. The hands are perfect. The head sculpt is perfect. The tailoring is perfect. The cape is perfect. Everything's perfect. There's really nothing that I have issues with it on, and there's nothing that I could have really wanted, because everything's great. It's not like they made a great costume but that sacrificed the articulation, because no, the articulation is perfectly unhindered. So this is a perfect figure. I mean, if you want a Doctor Strange figure, go ahead and get this. Do not be hesitant as far as the quality of this figure. It is certainly worth it, and it's certainly the best that it can be. There's really nothing that I could want from it, and that never happens. You know, whenever a figure comes out, there's certainly things that I have issues with, or things that I could have wanted. You know, and this one, that's just not the case. It's perfect. Everything's done to the best of Hot Toys' ability and to exactly what I expect and want. So I am perfectly happy with this, and this certainly might be my favorite Hot Toy of the year. We'll have to see. Wait till the end of the year. You know, Darth Vader was quite good, but this one is absolutely perfect. So there you go. That's my review of this Hot Toys Doctor Strange figure. Again, highly recommended, and especially since he's like now a main character of the MCU. I mean, there's really no reason you shouldn't get this if you're an MCU Hot Toys collector. It's 100% necessary in your collection, both from a character standpoint and a figure standpoint. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think of this figure, and thanks so much for watching.